what's up? Today I'm gonna be playing rank with my friends using Aries boys.
And I'm not kidding when I say this. If you knock someone with your void axe, you probably know that you gain health from damaging them with the axe. Seems like a fair trade to me. You can do this to many players at once to get even more health, and it's kind of satisfying. As you can see by Rojo's script, by repeatedly using the void axe on many people at once, you can regenerate infinitely. It's pretty OP, and it's a really good way to annoy your enemy. And this works even better if you have the shield gen enchant. Number 4. The fireball has gone through a lot of changes. The knockback has been heavily reduced, so people would think it's almost completely useless. Keyword, almost. We all know that you can fireball jump, but we also know that the mobility kits like Jade, Ward Regen have been nerfed. But there's a way to fix that. We all know for a fact that you can go pretty far with the fireball jump. By combining a fireball jump with these mobility kits, you can get some extra distance. But this will be better late game, considering 75 iron early game takes quite a while to get, especially with a tier 0 gem. Number 5. The baguette is one of those items that has been nerfed to the max. This is how much knockback a baguette did before.
Dude, amen for this great game, bro, amen.
And this is how much knockback a baguette does now, which is kind of similar to how much knockback a sword would do. So it's kind of like a sword that does barely any damage. Next time you get a baguette from a lucky block, don't bother using it. Never trust the bread. Number 6. Lucky blocks contain a lot of items, so you can get almost any item you want. Here's the official list of lucky block items and how rare they are. So you can pause or slow down this part if you want to go through every single possible lucky block item. Number 7. The Gumby has a wider range than you think. Its bounce effect still works if you stand 1 or even 2 blocks above it, so you can use it as a hit from your enemy. Number 8. Gen splitting is a very simple trick that some of the top players use. Basically, one person stands close to the gen, but far enough that they won't pick up the iron. Another person walks into the gen, which makes both players get the iron, basically doubling the iron. It's a pretty simple way to stack up more iron. So if you're playing Bed Wars with a friend, I suggest you show this trick to them if they don't know about it. And this trick also works in Untitled Bed Wars, in case any Minecrafters are watching. Number 9. I know you're all familiar with the music in the lobby. If you're wondering, the name of the music in the current lobby is Maple Isles by Micah Fisher. It's a pretty good song, so I guess it does have some good basic music. Number 10. You all know what lobby gadgets are. You know when you're bored in the lobby, waiting for your friend to join, and you decide to run around the map with a lobby gadget. This is a list of all the possible lobby gadgets, but it's actually a secret lobby gadget that almost no one has access to. This guy right here has a hoverboard, which isn't a lobby gadget that you can unlock, but this isn't just any guy. This person is actually an NFT prodigy if your friend was free, so he has ability to spawn in secret lobby gadgets. How cool is that? The best part is that he can spawn me a hoverboard as well. Look at me go. And they can even spawn force fields. Number 11. You can use the paint over as a flashlight to light up the place. It's pretty aesthetically pleasing, but it's obviously much better for mutilating players. Number 12. Other than bedrock, the two strongest blocks are obsidian and a special coral block, which you can get from a lucky block or a fishing rod, but which one is better for a bed defense? With a diamond pickaxe, it takes 8 shots to break an obsidian block, and for a coral block, it takes 11 shots. So you may think that the coral block is better than obsidian, but coral blocks can be blown up with TNT, unlike obsidian, which is blast proof. And unlike the coral block, you can reinforce obsidian, which will make it break in twice. It's stronger than coral, so it has 2 emeralds reinforce just 1 obsidian block. So I honestly don't know which one's better, but at least you now know how these blocks work. Number 13. Bed Wars had an update where you can't use commands in private, but there is one last way to use admin commands in private. You know when you spam the chat, it's gonna say you must wait X seconds before sending another message. Well, if you run a command while having that message pop up, you can actually spawn stuff without having your message in the public. So all you gotta do is spam a bunch, wait for this to appear, and use the command. And if you want a shorter messages, go ahead. Number 14. In every map, there's a border. Basically, there's an invisible line called the event horizon, where the game pretty much stops working. And if you cross that line with balloons,
That was 0 IQ. Oh my god. Oh, this is so rigged.
that'll happen to you. So next time you use balloons, you will not pass the event horizon. Otherwise, all of your balloons will disintegrate and you're pretty much dead. Number 15. In Bed Wars, there's a max height, quote unquote. With this one item, you can go way past max height. By building up to max height and throwing a pop-up cube, you can literally go way past max height, basically breaking the game's physics. And if you have enough cubes, you can go all the way up to the ceiling without even glitches like the cannon and jump drop trick. Although that thing is pretty cool as well. Number 16. If you played Bed Wars in February, you may know that YouTuber kits have been leaked by Alicia. Like the Tanker Grim Reaper skin and the DD Archer skin, which are honestly pretty cool ideas. Number Number 17. This is a pretty interesting week for Bed Wars, because this is the first time where a Battle Pass kit is free for an entire 7 days. Usually Battle Pass kits never go free, but I guess it's the first time for everything. Number 18. Fisherman is a pretty OP kit. With the fishing rod, you can actually get an RPG. It's highly unlikely, but it's in fact possible. You can also bypass the balloon limit if you fish enough balloons. Also, the knockback fish and emerald fish have the exact same texture, which is a pretty interesting fact. Number 19. You can spawn in a water can by doing /spawn watering can, but there's actually some backstory behind this item. This is Zulios, a developer for Bed Wars, who has helped develop quite a bit of the kits.
So what all kits did you create?
Most of the recent ones, like Vulcan, Bounty Hunter, Spirit Catcher, Beekeeper, like those.
You created all my favorite ones.
According to him, the water can and farming gears have been added at the exact same time. There's a very high chance that the water can was originally going to be a part of farming Cletus, but later got scrapped, which is honestly pretty interesting. Number 20. Some of these items in Bed Wars are actually much older than you think. The team that created Bed Wars actually had an older game in 2020 called Islands, and some of the stuff in Bed Wars are the exact same stuff you would see in Islands. You know the carrots from Farmer Cletus? Those were also in Islands back in 2020. Speaking of Farmer Cletus, he has also been around 2 years ago in Islands. He would be that strange old man who would trade crops with players. Pirate Davy was added to Islands exactly 2 days before it came out in Bed Wars, and they used the exact same model. You strangely think they are related or the same person. Number 21. Recently, Bed Wars had an update where they introduced bed shields. You basically cannot break beds for a couple minutes, which kind of defeats the purpose of rushing. Thankfully, they recently removed it in every single game mode except disasters, probably due to all the backlash. And those are 21 crazy Roblox Bed Wars facts you now know. There's actually one more fact I want to mention. It's the fact that most of you are not subscribed to the channel. Like, what are you doing? We're trying to speedrun to 100k, so if you can just check if you are subscribed, that'll help a ton. And if this gets 10,000 likes, I'll give away 10 gifts in my Discord server. Link in description, go join. But for now, that's a wrap. Give away 10.
This one was really watch
Tricks,
the video.
glitches, and generally insane stuff about the game. Also, at 100k, I'm gonna face reveal, so consider subscribing. It's free, and it helps out a ton. Number 1. Bed Wars has a ton of hiding spots and Easter eggs. In this sand temple map, the devs may or may not have snuck in a little spot to hide. Go to green space, then go forward. Stand right here on the bridge, and jump down with balloons. In this spot, you can see a tiny hole that you can easily squeeze in. I think this makes for a pretty good hiding spot. The only problem is the name tag. But hey, if you and your friends are up for some hide and seek, where name tags are off, you know exactly where to go. Number 2. Despite Season 2 mainly being a Halloween-themed season, the only Halloween-themed kits are Gumby and Jack. But ironically enough, these kits are considered to be worse than the non-Halloween kits, like Fisherman and Aries. So if you have the Season 2 Battle Pass, I suggest you stick to Fisherman and Aries, especially Fisherman, since it just got a huge buff, which makes your fishing life a lot easier. Wipe out what you can fish. Number 3. With the Void Region kit, you can have infinite health. And I'm not kidding when I say this. If you knock someone with the Void Axe, you probably know that you get health from damaging them with the axe. Seems like a fair trade to me. You can do this to many players at once to get even more health, and it's kind of satisfying. As you can see by repeatedly using the Void Axe on many people at once, you can regenerate infinitely. It's pretty OP and...
Gonna help my boy out. The other guy's an Aries, man. capture when you get wings. Help me, boys.
And it's a really good way to annoy your enemy. And this works even better if you have to change an enchant. Number 4. The fireball has gone through a lot of changes. The knockback has been heavily reduced, so people would think it's almost completely useless. Keyword, almost. We all know that you can fireball jump, but we also know that the mobility kits like Jade, Ward Regen have been nerfed. But there's a way to fix that. We all know for a fact that you can go pretty far with a fireball jump. By combining a fireball jump with these mobility kits, you can get some extra distance. But this would be better late game, considering 75 iron early game takes quite a while to get, especially with a tier 0 gen. Number 5. The baguette is one of those items that has been nerfed to the max. This is how much knockback a baguette did before.
Dude, amen for this great game, bro. Amen.
And this is how much knockback a baguette does now, which is kind of similar to how much knockback a sword would do. So it's kind of like a sword that does barely any damage. Next time you get a baguette from a lucky block, don't bother using it. Never trust a friend. Number 6. Lucky blocks contain a lot of items, so you can get almost any item you want. Here's the official list of lucky block items and how rare they are. So you can pause or slow down this part if you want to go through every single possible lucky block item. Number 7. The gun drop has a wider range than you think. Its bounce effect still works if you stand 1 or even 2 blocks above it, so you can use it as a hidden trampoline to escape from your enemy. Number 8. Gem splitting is a very simple trick that some of the top players use. Basically, one person stands close to the gen, but far enough so they won't pick up the iron. Then another person walks into the gen, which makes both players get the iron, basically doubling the iron. It's a pretty simple way to stack up more iron and get cleared up. So if you're playing Bedwars with a friend, I suggest you show this trick to them if they
You!
don't know about it.
I can't believe you killed my teammate.
In case any Minecrafters are watching. Number 9. I know you're all familiar with the music in the lobby. If you're wondering, the name of the music in the current lobby is Maple Isles by Micah Fisher. It's a pretty good song, so I guess it does have some great taste in music. Number 10. You all know what lobby gadgets are. You know when you're bored in the lobby, waiting for your friend to join, and you decide to run around the map with a lobby gadget. This is a list of all the possible lobby gadgets, but there's actually a secret lobby gadget that almost no one has access to. This guy right here has a hoverboard, which isn't a lobby gadget that you can unlock. This does any guy. This person's actually an NPC not in the official Bedwars group, so he has the ability to spawn secret lobby gadgets. How cool is that? And the best part is that he can spawn me a hoverboard as well. Like, look at me go. And they can even spawn force fields. Number 11. You can use the paintball gun as a flashlight to light up the place. It's pretty aesthetically pleasing, but it's obviously much better for mutilating players. Number 12. Other than Bedrock, the 2 strongest blocks are Obsidian and a special coral block, which you can get from a lucky block or a fishing rod. But which one is better for a bad defense? With a diamond pickaxe, it takes 8 shots to break an obsidian block, and for a coral block, it takes 11 shots. So you may think that the coral block is better than obsidian, but coral block can be blown up with TNT, unlike obsidian, which is blast-proof. And unlike the coral block, you can reinforce obsidian, which will make it break in 12 hits, which is stronger than coral, but it costs 2 emeralds to reinforce just 1 obsidian block. So I honestly don't know which one's better, but at least you now know how these blocks work. Number 13. Bedwars had an update where you can't use commands in private, but there is one last way to use admin commands in private. You know when you spam the chat, it's gonna say, you must wait X seconds before sending another message. Well, if you run a command while having that message pop up, you can actually spawn stuff without having your message in the public. So all you gotta do is spam a bunch, wait for this to appear, and use the command. It's And if you want to troll your friends with this, go ahead. Number 14. In every map, there's a border. Basically, there's an invisible line called the event horizon, where the game pretty much stops working. And if you cross that line with balloons,
That was zero IQ.
Oh my god.
This is so rigged.
that'll happen to you. So next time you use balloons, do not pass the event horizon. Otherwise, all of your balloons will disintegrate. Pretty much dead. Number 15. And worse, there's a max height.
Damn, my guy's one
With
shot.
just one item, you can go way past max height. By building up to max height and throwing a pop-up cube, you can literally go way past max height. Basically, break the game's physics. If you have enough cubes, you can go all the way up to the spectator map without doing glitches like the cannon and gun drop trick, although that glitch is pretty cool as well. Number 16. If you played Bed Wars in February, you may know that YouTuber gift skins have been leaked by Legion, like the Tanker Grim Reaper skin, the DDR skin, which are honestly pretty cool ideas. Number 17. This is a pretty interesting week for Bed Wars, because this is the first time where a Battle Pass has been free for an entire 7 days.
Get it.
Battle Pass kits never been free, but I guess it's the first time for everything. Number 18. Fisherman is a pretty OP kit. With the fishing rod, you can actually get an RPG. It's highly unlikely, but it's in fact possible. You can also bypass the balloon limit if you fish enough balloons. Also, the knockback fish and emerald fish have the
Good
exact
song, base.
texture, which is a pretty interesting fact. Number 19. You can spawn in a watering can. Slash spawn watering can. There's actually some backstory behind this item. This is Dodo, the developer for Bed Wars, who has helped develop quite a bit of the kits.
So what all kits did you create?
Most of the recent ones, like Vulcan, Bounty Hunter, Spirit Catcher, Beekeeper,
You created all my favorite ones.
According to him, water can and farmer cleaners have been added at the exact same time. So there's a very high chance that the water can was originally going to be a part of farmer cleaners, but later got scrapped. It's honestly pretty interesting. Number 20. Some of these items in Bed Wars are actually much older than we think. The team that created Bed Wars actually had an older game in 2020 called Islands. And some of the stuff in Bed Wars are the exact same stuff you would see in Islands. You know the carrots from Farmer Cletus? Those were also in Islands back in 2020. Speaking of Farmer Cletus, he has also been around 2 years ago in Islands. You would be that strange old man with crafted players. Haven't they even added to Islands exactly 2 days before it came out in Bed Wars? And they used the exact same model, which makes me think they are related or the same person. Number 21. Recently, Bed Wars had an update where they introduced bed shields. Basically cannot break beds for a couple minutes, which defeats the purpose of rushing. But thankfully, they recently removed it in every single game mode except Disaster, probably due to all the backlash. And those are 21 crazy Roblox Bed Wars facts you now know. There's actually one more fact I want to mention, and it's the fact that most of you are not subscribed to the channel. Like, what are you doing? We're trying to speedrun to 100k, so if you just check if you are subscribed, that'll help a ton. And if this gets 10,000 likes, I'll give away 10 gifts to my Discord server. Link in the description, go join. But for now, that's a wrap.
Would fall through the floor a lot more than you do now. See all these gaps right here? We don't really have a lot of these gaps anymore, but back then we did. Look how tall this guy is too. Look at the model. He's huge. Things were very different. It was also much. Oh, look at how tall he is. It was also much easier to break wool back then. They patched this later, or buffed technically. They buffed the health of beds and such. Look at my armor. They buffed a lot of stuff later just to slow us down from being able to destroy beds so fast. But you'll notice the armor was not finished. Like they completed some of the armor, but that one was not. Just a bunch of cubes. They didn't have enough time. The next update they made was for a new mode, which was doubles. As part of that, they also increased the cost of crossbows. They started noticing that a lot of people were kind of abusing the crossbow, and crossbows, continue, especially as players got better and better. You'll notice that, arrows were just insanely OP because you can spam arrows so fast. You're gonna see a shot shortly here. Look at this shot. Look how this is bow spam. That's bow spam. Again, bow spam was definitely a thing. So the next big update that they made was on June 9th, which was this Emerald Sword and Emerald Armor update. And this was in a way that, there's the first time you could actually have something that was super powerful. This was a very, very powerful weapon, and the armor just made you unstoppable. So not only were you super high damage, but you were also super tanky. The next big change they made was on June 14th. added 3 new kits. So this is the first introduction of kits, which included the Builder, Barbarian, and they also added 16v16s for a week, but Kaneko Kit loved it so much that the devs kept it based on, I think, his feedback. And then on June 21st, they added another kit, which was the Baker, which again, it was just, you can see this pattern of additional kits. Now the Baker allowed you obviously to have a little bit more, speed type items, like you have the pie and you also had the apples for killing yourself. And then continuing with that, this is the first introduction of one of the most overpowered kits in the game, which was the Archer Kit, and still one of my favorites. The Archer Kit was really, really overpowered at release, and most kits are. So typically speaking, when the devs add a kit, it's either really, really overpowered or it's just underpowered. And it's because, a weekly cadence doesn't really give them a chance to truly play test and balance kits before they're released. So often what you're going to see is a kit that is just way overpowered or underpowered. The Archer Kit came with this tactical bow, which was just nuts. You can see here, and this is back when our reload times were, much faster. So you can see how fast you can just kind of bow spam. It was just so crazy. The other thing that was crazy about the tactical bow is, look at this right here. You see how fast I'm back on? Like, it's fully extended. You don't have to wait for it to redraw and extend. But look at, even everything was just so fast. You can just destroy players. Look at that. And, if he had moved, I would have knocked him. Then on July 5th, the devs added zip lines. On top of that, they added this new kit called the Infernal Shielder. The zip lines were kind of an interesting change. I was surprised they added it. I wasn't really sure what the purpose was because we already had pearls, right? And I was really confused about it. I will tell you, today, they probably don't even need to be in the game. I think they were intended to be kind of a cool little feature here and fun. But right now, they're kind of buggy, especially if you're on Elder Street, if you're too high of an angle or if it's in a block. They're really buggy. So again, I kind of recommend using Pellet Pearls instead. But this was like the first introduction of some item to the game that could be used for fun. So the other thing you're gonna notice is that we didn't have green circles on our teammates' names. That's something I kept asking if we could get because it was very confusing when you get green coming to you and sometimes blue, and they look kind of the same. So they ended up adding that green circle, so it'd be a little easier for you to be able to identify who's who, and especially for colorblind, because if you're colorblind, then you never knew who your team was. So I give them that feedback early on that we need some indicator that your teammates are coming. Additionally, they added the Rage Blade to the Barbarian, which was a huge change because prior, the Barbarian was just kind of underwhelming. It was pretty underpowered. I thought it was kind of a weak kit until they added the Rage Blade, and obviously the Rage Blade was still kind of weak until they made it a little easier for us to get. Then on July 12th, they added the Melody Kit. Now this, I think, was inspired by the Islands update with instruments, because Islands had a ton of instruments and then they came out with Melody right afterwards or at the same time. Now there are better kits like the Trinity kits today that are, you can heal your teammates. The other thing you can do is the Baker Kit, and the nice thing about Baker Kit is at least on a solo you can still use it by buying apples and or buying pies and such. And then on the 13th they added Xbox support, and then on the 15th they added Street. Now on July 19th they added a new kit called the Davy Kit, and this again was pretty much the same timing with the Islands update with the Pirates updates, or the Pirate Island. They had similar models and such. So the Davy Kit was added. I thought this was hilarious. It's a really fun kit, but it's also really useless in a way, because if you see, even though they added a double shot to this a little bit later, they buffed the cannon a little bit more, and they reduced the price of TNT later. It's still really useless. If it was a hand cannon, I think it'd be a little bit easier. You have to sit down, you have to stop, you have to aim. A lot of people are using these cannons to control people. Remember their suffocation for a while, and you control other team members by putting it under them and killing them. So Davy's been kind of a controversial, I think, kit in the game, and one of the most useless, like I said. But super fun still. A lot of people say, well, he's super useful for... No, he's not useful. I'm sorry. I've played in so many matches. Anyone that's Davy is pretty much dead. So, I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll get a really good buff for him. And then greatest nightmare of all time was added to the game, and that was the limited time balloons. That's right, but they never left. Balloons allowed you to have infinite lives, and to this day they continue to give you an insane ability to survive an entire round. So still in there, but oh well. And the other thing they did was they added solos as part of that Davy update. Then on July 26th, they added the Nightmare Elder Tree. The Elder Tree is still one of the most overpowered kits, but fun kits in the game. I love being able to go around and pick up orbs. I also like that it gets really big. I also noticed that you can't unequip the skin anymore. You used to be able to make your model look huge, but now it's only the kit for some reason. I haven't asked the devs why that is, but it's such a fun kit. Definitely one of the most overpowered kits in the game, but super fun still. And then on August 2nd, we got the addition of the Lassie kit and Fireballs, in fact. So we got Lassie and Fireballs. So Lassie was just a silly fun kit. You can see you can kind of use this. I wish it was a little bit faster. I think if she was a little faster, but look, I just launched that guy. So it was a little bit bugged at first where you could ragdoll players as well. Now, I think the ragdoll was something involving Roblox, not the devs. So see how this guy got ragdoll. Again, really funny kits. It was honestly one of the most fun additions, and they're super annoying when they're free for the week. Not a super powerful kit, but just fun. Look at this shot. This is hilarious. You're done. And of course, Fireballs came with that update, which I absolutely love. Next, on August 4th, we had the addition of customs. That's right, we finally got custom modes. I asked the devs before the game launch, I said, please give us a custom game mode, because that is going to be so important for me and my community to be able to hold tournaments and be able to do 1v1s and such in private games, because they didn't launch with private matches or private servers. So I asked them, please give us like private mode, and they eventually did. It took a little while, a little longer than I hoped, but they did finally release it. And there's a lot of things like this that I've asked in the past for that are hopefully still going to come, but we'll see if they ever, deliver on those. But obviously, custom matches did turn out to be one of the biggest game-changing updates to the game, and in my opinion, that also helps content creators and others be able to host like tournaments and leagues and such. On August 9th, they added the Grim Reaper kit, which to me, when it first came out, I wasn't really impressed with that. I thought it was kind of an okay kit, but I didn't really understand it fully at the time. It's certainly a great kit to be able to, dive in and dive out. The other thing that they added was the Battle Royale mode. So if you remember Battle Royale, it had 100 players. It was a rush fest. It was not, like, I was super excited at first, but then, seeing the lag, as well as it was really hard to understand what was going on. See how many colors there are at the top of the screen there? There were way too many shared colors. There was no way to really tell if someone was on your team, because if someone had the same color as you, even though they were in either alpha or beta team, if they were in beta team and you were in alpha, you would still see the little green circle over their head as if they were your teammates. And so you ended up getting killed by someone you thought was your teammate. So it's almost like having spies sharing your color. I don't know how many times I was killed by a player that had the same look. And the other thing is, like I said, it's just a rush test. So if it was a different map, it would be better. But Reaper was a really cool addition. You can heal yourself and you can get that little speed boost, which is nice. And you were pretty much invincible for a little while. And the range on that was crazy. Next, on August 16th, they added the Wizard kit. In my opinion, one of the cooler kits in the game, beyond Spirit Catcher. This is just a really cool ranged weapon kit. And combined with Fireballs, he's just really good. You see, you just plant that, you just drop the lightning bolt, boom, and they just get blasted. Look at this. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's certainly jarring, and it does, it kind of thins them out a little bit. The other thing they added as part of this update was shears. A lot of people didn't use shears for a while because they didn't really see the value of them. Shears are a really great way to handle wool. Maybe you got a bed that has a ton of wool. You can just shred right through it with shears and then use your wooden axe or your pickaxe to take out the rest. The other thing you notice, they still had infinite balloons at this time. Look at these infinite balloons I had. I had so many balloons. Next, on August 20th, they added the Vulcan kit, which is one of my favorite looking kits. It's just so cool looking. I think it's kind of like, I don't know, it's got such a unique look. You see, it came with the turret system, which was really fun to play with. A lot of players were disappointed with this update, purely for the fact that it's not very powerful. Like I said, I don't think it was ever meant to be powerful. I mean, look at, I'm destroying these guys, though. These guys are trying to attack me. In my opinion, it was good enough. It just needed a little bit more knockback, and I think it's good. And the other thing they added at the time was 30v30 limited time mode, which, increased the speed of the generator, so generator speed was so much faster, and then Davey received a small buff for extra TNT, which was okay, it didn't really help him. Then on the 27th, they launched the very first Battle Pass. This was a game changer because, they had been trying to figure out how to handle the fact that they can't keep doing game passes, and this was a great answer to it. Battle Pass is huge. It came with 5 new kits, including the Pyro, the Raven, Beekeeper, Jade, and Warrior. The locker was also added with the various sprays, lobby titles, and final kill effects. Community response on these kits was pretty negative, and the only reason why is they felt it was very pay to win. They couldn't use these kits right away. They had to pay in order to be able to get them, and some of them were free, but they still had to grind for them. The fact is it was very negative, so the devs really took that to heart, and they made a couple patches here and there, in particular making it easy easier for people to be able to get XP. The other thing that they did was they made it so that players would get 3 weekly free kits instead of just 2. So this was the introduction of Pyro. He was a little underwhelming at first because if you remember the embers you wouldn't be able to keep after you killed someone. If you died, you'd lose your embers. It was also not very good for upgrading at first, so like you would upgrade these components as part of the flamethrower, and for some reason damage and changes just weren't very powerful, so they did end up buffing him later. The other thing we have here is the Raven, and the Raven was pretty hard to control at first. It was a little small to see, like you had to use X to be able to explode. It's kind of at the bottom there, and I didn't see it for the longest time. Raven's still a little bit sketch as of this video. The other kit we had was the Beekeeper. Now it's a lot harder. You need a lot more levels and tiers to upgrade before you're able to even be able to get those emeralds. But back then it was so easy to be able to get them. Then we had Jade, which was a pretty interesting character because she could do this like nice little leap here, although sometimes into the void. The problem I had with her is if you would die you would lose the hammer, and they changed that later because it was just kind of unfortunate when you die and lose your hammer. The other thing they added was Warrior, and I didn't really show that in this video, but you can watch my update video to see full details of Warrior. On September 3rd they added the Bounty Hunter kit, and this was in addition to the Battle Pass, and on top of that he's a free kit. So if people grinded for him, they could get him for free. He was a really powerful kit in my opinion, and that especially in like 2v2s, really nice when you can get like a bunch of items. So you can see here I'm about to knock this Grim Reaper off, who's my target, and then I got some emeralds. So Pink got 2 emeralds. So again, a really great kit if you want, if you're good at killing, it's such a great kit. The other thing they added as part of the update is baguettes. The baguettes are essentially a knockback baguette. So it's similar to if you play the Hypixel Bed Wars, it's kind of like the knockback stick. Now at launch, they were really crazy powerful. The knockback was unreal on them. So they'd launch you really far back. Now it's not as good, they can still hurt you. In my opinion, I don't think a lot of people use it because it's not very powerful anymore, but back then it was. I feel like they could probably buff it a little more and it'd be worth using again. They added another Battle Pass kit, which is the Spirit Catcher, Catherine. It's a really good kit, in my opinion. I would say probably one of the top 5. I think I've done some features on her as far as how powerful she is. In fact, the new term these days is Spirit Spammer. It's hilarious. But you can pretty much spam these, and they're really powerful. They can knock people easily. I think players are getting better with her over time, and a lot of players, like I said, are getting frustrated with her because the spirits are so good. She was certainly a nice addition to the game, especially for balloons. So balloons can't really, avoid her Dodos. Then on September 24th, they added a new Game Pass kit. It had been a while since they had done a dedicated Game Pass kit because everything had been going through the Battle Pass. They added a premium one, which is the addition of Trinity. Trinity was basically the replacement for Melody as well as Baker, in that the kit can heal itself depending on if you're good enough. I mean, you got to get 3 kills to even enable the kit, so that is kind of nice. If you don't really know how to kill, then it's probably not a good kit for you. Fact is if you go the Dark Void, you can heal yourself, and if you went Light Void, you can heal your teammates. So again, a really great kit. So on October 2nd, we got the Dodo Birds update, which introduced this new mount, which was pretty wild. I was super confused why we had it, but they're so cool. I don't like them and I like them at the same time. I feel like they're a really great addition to the game, but not very well balanced. Part of the balance issue was that Dodo Birds could spawn on your bed, and so it really came down to luck versus skill. Now, if every base had a Dodo Bird spawn at the start of the game or just at a certain point in the game, that would make a whole lot more sense. Very much a fair game. Or if every single person spawned one-to-one at the start of the game, then it would make a whole lot more sense. The issue comes into balance, and when you combine the Dodo Bird with someone that has Emerald Armor, a Rage Blade, and balloons. But Dodo Birds, like I said, are a really fun addition to the game. I've had a lot of fun, messing around with them. Now later on, they did nerf these, so they're a little harder to find in games now. You're not going to see them as much in matches. In fact, there's no guarantee you're ever going to see them in a match. There's just a chance that they might be in one. Then on October 8th, they added a new game mode, which was a Lucky Block mode. I think a lot of people were mixed about this mode. The main reason why I didn't like it is it just felt really unbalanced. Obviously, it wasn't really because it's Lucky Blocks, right? So how can you really balance a Lucky Blocks game? Well, the issue was that most people would just go out to the middle and grab their Lucky Blocks instead of, trying to play normally. And of course, they would just get a Rage Blade and then just devour the entire game, which was really the strategy around it. And I finally got that a little bit later on. So that's why I didn't really like it initially, is because I was trying to play the original squads mode with a little bit of the Lucky Blocks. And you really have to embrace Lucky Blocks to truly play it. But this was a crazy new mode. They recently removed it. They brought back 30s instead, but they did say Lucky Blocks would be making a return along with a lot of other updates. So my favorite item I have to tell you out of this entire update was the RPG. So the RPG I couldn't get enough of. For a few weeks following this update, we also saw mostly minor updates with new maps and such while the devs were preparing for Battle Pass Season 2. Then on October 23rd, we got the Season 2 of the Battle Pass. That's right, Battle Pass Season 2 was a huge update. Everyone had been looking forward to this countdown. And so this update introduced 5 new kits, including Fisherman, Jack, Aries, Trapper, and Gumby. Gumby the Ghost Hunter. On top of that, we got some new cosmetics and titles. So we got new titles, new spray paints and such. In addition, it came with a really cool new map called the Crypt. I really like this map. So I had predicted that we'd get a Trapper at some point because I felt it was missing from the game when we really needed traps. So I posted that prediction on Twitter a while back. I think it was like 2 months ago that I posted that. This is a really cool kit. I think, you know, it needs a little bit more buffing, I think. So I gave the devs some feedback. I think they need to be a little bit less visible because they're a little too easy to spot and avoid. On top of that, we got this new Scarecrow, which is really cool, called Jack, and what he does is he creates this oil slick. It makes players slide around a little bit, kind of like, you know, ice, and it also damages them at the same time, which I thought was really cool. Next up, we have the Fisherman, which is a really fun kit. He's hilarious. I could probably just become a Fisherman player. That could be my thing. Now, during the recording of my video and part of this update, I haven't been able to play the Fisherman without it being bugged. But you can see it's like a little mini game. You gotta, you know, keep that little meter on the center of the fish, and then if you do successfully, then you get free items. So he has a chance to give you like really cool items. And then here we have the Majestic Aries. He's such a cool looking kit. He's one of my favorite looking kits in the game right now. He just looks, I mean, I don't know how he has abs on his back. It's crazy. He's the god of war, so of course he's gonna throw spears. His spears do a ton of damage. It's a lot like playing with the spirit catcher and the archer at the same time, so I like him a lot. Anything range is pretty much my style of gaming. Next up we have Gumby. He uses a vacuum cleaner to catch spirits, kind of like a Ghostbuster, and then he launches spirits into enemies to cause massive damage. And then of course we got the new brewing stand and such, so as part of this update we have the invisibility potion, which I thought was really cool. They also changed the item store, and a lot of people players didn't like that, but I liked it a lot. I like that it costs, you know, diamonds for you to be able to unlock more advanced weapons as well, so that was a nice way of slowing players down from just going all out. So now the question is what's next for Bed Wars? I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more modes. Obviously we're going to see more battle passes, assuming they can keep up with that. I think the update cadence, I don't know if they can continue this kind of style of cadence where it's just constant updates. But either way, I'm really excited to see what the future is of the game. I think they do need to, you know, continue to play with different modes, give players something to come back to. Definitely continue to balance the game, because I think a lot of players are frustrated with the balancing. And then obviously handling any of the hackers that come around, because as part of this update, they did do a big hacker ban wave. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Apa? Astro percuma 30 hari? Ya, kali ini Astro menawarkan langganan percuma 30 hari kepada pelanggan.
Cawak ah.
Pack movies, entertainment ataupun premium pack sekarang dan anda tidak perlu bayar apa-apa. Dengan sedang RM89.99 dapat akses kepada 95 saluran berbagai macam. Dengan akses kepada pelbagai saluran, anda tetap selamat di rumah dengan meluangkan masa bersama keluarga dan menonton
What
acara
the?
menarik di Astro.
Wow. What's the S still here? I removed it, bro. This game is
Kerana dengan Astro Ultra Box, anda boleh menikmati siaran tanpa gangguan. Dan jangan lupa, Netflix dan Disney Plus Hotstar pun ada. Kalau itu pun tulang juga, terlebih tengok TV lah tu. Jadi, langgan sekarang di astro.com.
Stop it.
Dia berhubung semua tak.
Oh my god.
What's up, guys? Mr. Feast here, and today we're trying our very own Mr. Feast burger. Now, this is our first bite of
Excuse
so let's
me.
get in here.
I didn't even press the video. Bro, I'm not even in the video.
So good.
Wait, we gotta cut.
Screw it.
What?
One of the most epic jobs on earth is
There.
being a DJ. However, with tens of thousands of songs being released every day, it's become almost impossible to make it to all. You see, there's tons of talented people out there just waiting to be discovered. So I wonder, could I use my platform to take someone from normal person making beats in their mom's basement to performing in front of thousands in 24 hours? So in this episode, we're gonna find out. We delete like right now.
I'm trying to export the video so we can post, so we can keep making money and survive.
This is literally last week's video.
The video you just watched, I'm exporting that 30 minutes before we leave for the airport.
It's more like 5 minutes. So. We're officially in Miami. This is Max. Max is on the boat. Last time we were at this airport was in a Super Bowl. I hadn't told the boys what we were doing here. It was time to sit them down to explain. Last, before we get started, you guys asked for button. Help us get to 5 million subscribers. Follow on Instagram, and I will be DMing one of you guys and shipping this giant Band-Aid to you. That's it. Back to the video. So I found this kid on my For You page like probably 3 months ago, and I've been watching every TikTok he makes. It's the most bizarre stuff I've ever seen in my entire life.
So you guys really like the beat I made last week, so I decided to make another one. So boys. What is this, bro?
What is happening right now, dude?
All of this. So you can show us this.
Let me know what you guys think.
Bruh. It's so funny. Little do these guys know, I actually talked to Vince a week before and invited him down to Miami. I've never talked to Vince before in my life. Vince, what's up, baby? Here's the deal. I basically have a guy named TK. He's like the god of throwing parties globally, and he has agreed to put you on stage as an artist in Miami.
Yeah, bro, I'll get your boy on stage. That's the easy part. That's fucking sick. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. So what we would need to do, you and I need to create, just the stupidest meme beat you've ever created. A full DJ set, and then we need to go to Miami to perform this thing.
I'm so down, yeah.
Okay, cool. There's gonna be like thousands of people watching me. With that?
Yeah, that's not well.
Okay. Vince is literally this kid from the middle of nowhere in Ohio, and we are flying him out to premiere as a top act at an enormous Miami club. But before we get him on the stage, we all know DJ's looking for crazy lifestyle. I and Hayden, our producer, plan out the most extravagant next couple of days here in Miami that are possible.
G-Wagon, a McLaren, a 5-bedroom mansion, and a boat to ourselves.
Fastest car I've ever been in is a Prius.
You're serious?
I have a horrible life, Eric.
Let's go!
Does Vince know the music?
No, but he's gonna be here in about 20 minutes.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah, he has no idea.
This is absolute chaos, dude.
Alright, Vintage is here. You're gonna go grab him? I'll go grab him. Alright.
I literally just hopped on my laptop one time and made like a stupid beat with a bunch of like fart sounds and stuff. And we made one and it blew up.
Would you have ever thought that posting that TikTok would have led to you being on stage?
I don't know, there's no chance.
We got a lot of surprises in the next 48 hours. I'm not going to tell you about any of them. So I talked to the club. They don't love the idea of doing a lot of fart sound effects, but I'm thinking at the very end, massive like fart sound effects.
Fattest, but juiciest fart.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes. Do you want to sample Mac for a fart?
Yeah, I just want to like fart in my phone microphone, that'd be great.
Yeah, hand me your phone real quick.
How am I going to break out with you for this? 3, 2, 1. Pleasure to visit you.
That is the last time you're going to see that hotel. We got a little alternative for you today.
Chill.
Oh my god. Nice.
This is your car for the next 24 hours. I'm dead serious.
I am in McLaren right now.
I did not think that would be happening today.
Here we go. This is all you, bro. You guys don't remember, Max actually lives on a sailboat, so this is pretty normal to you.
That's really nice of them.
Maybe if we get to 5 million subscribers this year, we can get you a nice place to live now. Come here, Vince. Oh my god. Everyone like dreams of like this kind of moment. This is must be. I'm glad you're here, bro. I never thought 24 hours ago I'd be driving. Well, 24 hours ago, he definitely didn't expect this either. Our first stop is in Miami. I hope to warm Vince up for his big performance tomorrow. Alright, so we're on our way. Vince has no idea what we're doing. He didn't do anything for this.
boy.
In the midst of all this chaos, we saw Vince talking to a girl. A video about building a stranger's DJ career had suddenly turned into a love story. And let's just say Vince was getting a little bit more confident. Hey, we did all this to make you ready for tomorrow. You ready? I'm ready. Hey, real quick, guys. Vince right here has a little beat. He's gonna highlight some R&B music. Alright, so you like the beat? No, it's fire. It's a fire beat. And everything was going great until the unthinkable happened. So we just jumped out of this. I think we're gonna call it a night. Where's the girl? She's at the club, so she went to another club, but she told me she's gonna be there.
Bro! The video wasn't recorded again! Dude, I was getting so stacked.
What is that? This is my friend Ryan. He's a YouTuber, and in his videos, he has a lot of trouble with social interaction.
Hey, on some peppermints for 25 cents.
I really hate this game, dude.
So I decided to push Ryan out of his comfort zone today by hiring a giant band to follow him around, shutting down everywhere we go. But Eric, this sounds expensive. It was. Hayden, are we looking on the mariachi band?
Cheapest estimate I've gotten is $7,000.
Oh my God. What Ryan doesn't know is that we have a date set up for him at the end of today, where he's going to have to surprise his unsuspecting date along with an unsuspecting restaurant with absolute chaos. I actually haven't told Ryan anything that's happening today, but I do need to go pick him up from the
Now his
airport.
little brother was playing and his little brother was absolutely poop.
Boys, how we doing?
Ryan, a pleasure to have you on the channel. I don't think you've ever made an appearance.
Hai para ibu, terukai kalender digital Ramadan oleh Kinder Joy. Klik untuk bantuan lanjut.
Do you have any idea what's happening today?
Oh yeah, he told me. We're sneaking into Mac's bedroom at midnight and biting his toes.
I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, I don't know where we're filming. I don't know where we're filming.
Super normal day. Super boring. Nothing's happening. Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Little bite ski?
Is anything relatively low in price here?
Everything is 4 times as expensive as where you're from. Small town Texas.
Love that.
Except Chipotle. I'm really excited to spend this normal day together, man.
You're not being honest with me. He's not even looking at you. He's looking at the camera.
Honestly, Ryan, I feel nervous right now. Once this video starts, it can't be stopped.
What?
And it's gonna be chaos.
We're going to Chipotle right now. How bad can it be? Hey, can I get a burrito with white rice? How's your day going? Good, good, good. I'm from Texas. You guys know about this?
Is that yours?
I'm glad that's over.
No more of that.
Okay, we're done?
Yeah.
Okay, that actually made me extremely uncomfortable.
Alright, I thought next up we go check out the Santa Monica Pier. I don't know, no specific reason.
My heart rate is actually unstable right now.
You have no idea.
Dude, I played the trumpet in middle school.
You did?
Yes, that guy, that was my classmate.
What a day. Well, farmer's market, very peaceful it seems. It actually seems so peaceful. It seems so peaceful.
This is actually sick.
11 o'clock on a frickin' Wednesday.
Yeah, this is nuts. Dude. Is that a different guy?
That's so weird that he's here too.
Why is he looking at us?
Why is he looking at us?
Following us.
I don't think I have anything to do with that.
He's making eye contact with me. He's making eye contact with me.
Here. Normal.
I'm like praying that this is not like the bodyguard video.
It's not like the bodyguard video.
What are you internalizing right now? Oh my god. There's a sheer amount of people here.
What about it?
Everybody's having a good day.
What's it to you? Nothing's gonna happen. Just a peaceful, normal.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no. No, they're not gonna follow us. Yeah, I can take a picture. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening. I have nothing to do with that. Eric, follow us. They're not following us.
He's so uncomfortable. This is so funny.
How long are they going to follow us? They're still going. They're still following us.
Who are these people? Hey! We didn't rent the park out.
No, you didn't.
All these workers aren't here on Santa Monica Pier because of us. I didn't spend $100,000 on this video. You told me you hate roller coasters.
Oh, no, Eric.
I already spent some money.
They're
following us on the roller coaster.
No, they're not.
This might be my favorite video we've made so far.
Are they getting off the roller coaster with us?
Of course they're getting on the roller coaster with us.
I have not broken songs. I haven't ridden a roller coaster in 4 years, and the last time I did, I puked on the roller coaster.
Thanks for making these videos possible, guys, and helping me make Ryan's day the worst day of all time. You make these guys' videos possible by subscribing. The other person who makes this video possible, by the way, is actually Current, the future of banking. They have been so supportive of our channel. They've been so supportive of the Mafia. They help some of our original videos come true.
How'd you get the money?
Brand deal.
Is your video sponsored?
Yes.
You son of a...
Normal banking is super annoying, kind of like having a giant mariachi band follow you around everywhere. Can you guys pause for a second? Okay, they don't pause, I guess. I use my Current card all the time. I think you're actually with Current too, right?
I am, yeah. Current game.
Let's go, baby!
I don't know.
Current makes banking easier, more transparent, doesn't hide things like normal banks, which helps me personally cut because I can spend less time worrying about financial stuff and more time putting together crazy videos like this for you guys. And the team at Current are now like my friends. I actually love these people. So Mafia, I'm asking if you want to support the channel, go download Current right now. I'm going to be sending $500 to 10 people who request money from my account at Arak on Current. Subscribe to me and subscribe to Ryan. Let's go. 10 people, $500 for free. Download Current, link in the description. How do we make this thing go? Yes. Oh my God. Is that normal? What is that? So serious. Are you okay? There's so much more to do. At this point, you have an idea of what's happening here. The rest of the day, we're adding more and more mariachi band for every activity that we do.
That's not the full band. How many can you possibly be coordinated?
50 of them.
There's no way.
I see you in social situations. Even the videos are pretty awkward. At the end of the day, you and I are going to be going on a double date.
You're asking me to overcome my social awkwardness by presenting them with 50 mariachi band members.
And by the end of the day, you're going to be the most socially apt social man on planet Earth.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, there's groups.
Yeah.
But I'm a little impressed.
So for this next one, you haven't been on a first date in a while. The best thing to research how to go on a first date is at a library, right?
No. It's not.
That's so weird. I didn't think about the repercussions of having a mariachi band inside of a library. Library, place you learn things. Say that. No choice, literally. How to you get a little WikiHow article.
10 steps with pictures.
In order to go on a date, you must have a second party to accompany you. I have that set up for you. How to prepare for the date. First, take a shower before your date. You shower today? Nobody wants to be seen in public with somebody who is dirty and smells. Well,
That's why I'm having a hard time here.
make sure you have money. This is interfering with our browsing session.
That's not me. They're saying my name.
They're saying I love you, Ryan. To prepare you for your date. Wow. There's cops that are trying to stop us right now.
Should we take it outside?
I think we should try to stay in here as long as possible.
Go outside.
Outside? Go outside. Okay, got it. He's running. They didn't even know how to stop you. They're just vibing. Like... You're like a...
I also...
You have a hot date tonight.
I don't know how I feel about that.
We need to get cleaned up, ready to go. We're so dirty and smelly.
Okay. Alright, what's the solution?
Good. Are you relaxed yet? I'm pretty relaxed. Nice, quiet, and peaceful.
They've been calling me stinky boy all day. Do I smell bad? Thank you. That's all I need to
Just say, how peaceful is this in here?
10 out of 10.
You uncomfortable to know what's about to happen in here? Considering how peaceful it
I
is.
mean, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just upset.
That this environment's about to get destroyed.
And at what cost?
We're trying to help you.
What's your name? Teresa. I have...
is our last stop, which is your date. Do you feel prepared? No. So it's a 20-minute walk, which is not going to do. We're going to be late. So the thought is we got all the mariachis and numbers, bird scooters, and we're going to mob the streets of LA in order to get to the date in time. That's the plan.
The streets of Los Angeles no longer belong to President Obama. They belong to us, the mafia. We were moments away from our date, and I wasn't sure how prepared Ryan was. Not even Obama could save him.
Do you feel like so far today you've made any sort of transformation? No. I'm uncomfortable right now. Oh, wow. They're all here. Oh my gosh.
To put stuff in my chest first.
Yeah, forget the part where this happened. How's it going, guys? This is shocking.
Everyone around is so confused on what's happening. There's harpists, there's guitarists.
I need a pep talk. What's your advice not to feel so uncomfortable right now?
Just give it to her. Try it. No.
Great to meet you. I'm Eric. To make sure I got my money's worth, I hand-counted every band member to make sure that Ryan's experience was as uncomfortable as possible. And finally, it was time for the date.
We're going to dinner, guys. We'll see you guys there. Oh my gosh, there's so many people. Nervous? There's your date right there.
Oh, this is my day.
Eric's the boss. This is your date.
Eric, I don't know.
I don't know what you guys.
Platonic. Okay.
This is my girlfriend, Hope.
Hope, how's it going?
You know what's about to happen? You're probably not going to like it. Cheers, cheers. Hey, how's it going? Phenomenal.
First they were all on scooters.
Weird.
So we don't have to worry about them, like. Okay.
Got it, cool.
Oh my goodness. No way.
I didn't do this, I promise. You okay? There's never anything there out. Even if I wanted to stop this right now, I couldn't. This is beyond my control. I don't think the cops could stop it if they wanted to. This guy's on a Zoom call right now. Oh! They're turning the restaurant dead!
What started off as a terrifying group of people was now bringing smiles to faces everywhere. But all that mattered was if Ryan had overcome his social anxiety.
Do you feel like you're more socially ready to take on the world? I do! I do! The mafia has changed yet another way. The world is our oyster! Mafia is strong! Shout out to Jonah A. for following on Instagram. I'm following back one person every single week. But the adventure doesn't end here. Wait, there's another video on my channel? Another video that we shot on your channel right now. That they can go watch. With us together. That's pretty much it. I'm leaving.
I mean, I lie all the time.
Nah, I'm still staying inside.
Zero shot. No, I can't. I'm warm here. How long are you going to stay here for?
I don't care about the money, I just want to win.
Carl?
Interviewing a guy that's going to be out first. How's it going?
Carl, if you keep betting against me, I swear.
I lost faith the second I saw everybody else.
What? Why are you saying this?
Remember when I said earlier that I wanted to stand here for the long run and beat you? This challenge?
Like 5 minutes ago? Oh, yeah.
I no longer want to do that at all.
What?
Look at these people. I'm sure they're great. I don't want to be friends with any of them.
Oh my god.
Imagine being here for 2 weeks.
You're gonna have to stay here as long as I stay here.
Yeah, in the same state, not the circle. You're gonna be the first one up. Hey, everybody, gather up.
Why is he doing this?
I've been here for 2 hours. I've met some of you guys. This is miserable. I don't want to do it anymore.
Don't do this.
Between me and you, are you guys left?
Yeah, dude.
Are you actually gonna win?
No choice. I spent all my money on my last video. I have no choice but to take your money now and make more videos.
Even though you were the first one to leave the circle, I still have to prize you.
This is That's pretty much it. I'll see you in the morning. Well, this is officially day 2 of the circle. People have left. 55 still here. It's interesting because people are splitting up into cliques, and the cliques are getting stronger.
It's like high school all over again.
I formed my own group of 8 people, which we plan to take to the final 8. And naturally, we called this group the Hateful 8.
Why aren't you sleeping in the money with these guys?
It's so dirty.
Look at this guy judging people. Just have fun.
Oh my god.
Jimmy, give it to me straight. Do you think this guy has a shot? I'd say there's probably a 1% chance he wins.
You're just going to fire me up.
Yeah?
It should be like 50% chance.
50% chance. So you're just gonna stop filming videos and just sit here for a moment. Congratulations to the 93 of you that survived the first night. And now it's time to introduce the twist. At the end of each day, we're gonna shrink the circle a little bit.
They are literally packing us in here like sardines. But in a month, how much smaller is this circle gonna be? I don't know the answer to that. I'm terrified to find out. I mean, that's where I slept last night. It turned out that as the circle shrank, so did our social circles.
What about a Saturday? So you want to listen to it?
Nobody's gonna see this.
It was 8?
Yep.
Now it's somehow 11 or 12. What's going on over here?
You gotta cut the twos.
They were sleeping where they should have been sleeping. You know, those spots yesterday.
Once more.
They're gonna give us all air sight on it. It's not my...
Where?
So bad. I'm such a oh shit, bro. Everyone hug me. It's this 8 until the final 8, and I don't care about this 8. It's on me.
It's 8. We all turn against each other, I guess. As time went on, Jimmy introduced soccer to distract and eliminate us. And it was actually working pretty well, bro. Oh my god. Dangerous game. These boys keep pulling these maneuvers right here, bro. What are we? This is oh my god. What? Fortunately, what Brandon failed to realize was that if you keep touching the fire, you'll eventually get burned.
After seeing the footage frame by frame, I haven't heard it. Oh god. How far are you?
Yeah.
Let's see what A-Rex says. No, look at this.
I cannot believe that Brandon is gone. 72 people left. They're all people who got out of the circles because of soccer, and they keep playing. Yeah! No sleeping bags is real. That's our only form of dopamine rush anymore. Just other people watching. We should go ahead and get our spots on the money over here. Thanks, my max. This is just $1 for pills. Alright, here we go. Yep. They didn't give our sleeping bags to us until like 6 a.m. or something. I have no sense of time or reality. So many people. Oh my gosh. We're down to 57 people right now. Look at this. You saw that happen? Oh yeah, I was talking crazy. Sunshine, bring it for another day.
So how'd you sleep last night?
Didn't sleep great, Jimmy, I'm gonna be honest with you. You took away our sleep bags.
Well, we gave it to you towards the end.
Right.
We just had to give you a glimpse of the future. Attention! I want to give you guys music teachers.
Carl's decided to turn on an alarm for an undecided amount of time. We didn't know it yet, but this alarm was one of Jimmy's secret weapons he used to get rid of the last night.
Buddy's going up here. The alarm is a nightmare.
You would have been here last night. You wouldn't think so. Jimmy.
Like, time?
No.
I'll take that, baby. This is kind of scary.
Yeah, this is a prison simulation.
People are actually losing their mind. You look a little tired. I don't know what day it is.
I'm not still in this competition because I want to what's actually possible. This is a good opportunity to do that. So if I'm able to win the money, give it to you guys, this is how far you can push yourself. I mean, it's freaking 3 birds with 1 stone. If days, both the temptations to leave and the challenges to stay increased. We started by dividing the circle into 4, and when we were once eating steak, pizza, and beef burgers, we're now eating oatmeal and protein shakes. He was negative tens of thousands of dollars, a fortune, even actual Tesla over our heads to try to thin the herd. Even though I wasn't budging, lots of others were.
Yo, can I get your vlog spin it again?
I'll do one better and I will put you in the description and tell people to go subscribe.
Okay, let's do it. Dave is doing this all for our video.
What's up? You want me to get the lucky charm? Okay, well.
You're about to go over, dude. So the Lucky Charms revolution ended in our favor, but in our defense, none of this ever had to happen. We wouldn't have wanted those Lucky Charms so bad if we hadn't been eating oatmeal for 2 weeks straight. And in that moment, for just a second, everyone in the circle was happy together. Even if our hateful eight had turned into the 1, 2, 3, second 3. Even though our revolution was successful, Jimmy's team would get revenge the following morning. I'm gonna make it harder. Oh, wow.
For the rest of the day, you can also sit down.
Oh, God. This challenge was so hard that within minutes, 2 of our closest friends were eliminated. Down, bro. Literally the trouble too. So we have to go to the back. We're not gonna go to the back. We're not going to the back. Okay, if you thought this was a bizarre bathroom experience, I promise it was Netflix. It's foreshadowing. I'm not kidding. For the next 2 days, we did whatever Master Jimmy said, including running around in circles, late dance parties, the occasional 3 a.m. game of poker, and
Get your own quadrant.
and I decided to choose the only quadrant with the bathroom, which basically made me royalty.
So Aries, man, this is just
Of course, come on over here, buddy.
my passions through thy land.
Come on in, buddy.
My lady.
Of course. Excuse me, Mr. Precious, sir.
My lady.
My lord. Okay, you're too big. I'm just gonna let you come on in. I not letting it see my eyes. Just want to get her shut and never reopen. I'm so keep myself awake. So I guess that's what we're doing here. So you literally just get back here. How about you? Do you like it? I don't like how small it is. Perfect. It's time to skip the even more. Got outlines of your feet. It can't get smaller. You got about 2 tickets between you and losing $500. That's not a lot, Jimmy. In the next few minutes, I'll give you $10,001. Oh. Left and right, contestants were stepping out. It was time for the plot twist of the century. Contestants, it is time I introduce the plot twist of the century. I didn't tell you this, but this video is actually 2 parts. And this was just part number 1. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing tag to see which one of you actually wins the $500,000. What? No way, dude. Oh! You're good? I'm literally gonna cry right now. In the next video, you can see which one of these people wins $1 million. I'll see you there. Speaking of $500,000, that's right, that's me, narrator Eric. If I were to give you $500,000, where would you keep it? Why? Okay, that's a stupid idea. I would use the future event to use current. Current is the future event. It's entirely on your phone. There's a bank in there. And they even said you could bury on debit cards, but it doesn't stop at just being a nice looking card. When I think of current, I think of like a bank without all the bad things, like there's no overdraft fees, no hidden fees, faster direct deposits so that you can get paid. Current lets me spend less time worrying about my banking and more time in a circle for 12 days. That's what I did with all my time that I saved at Current. Genuinely, I have met the people at Current. They are the coolest, and they have supported the Iraq model from the very beginning. So cool, in fact, that you can go download Current right now, request $500 from me, and I'm going to be paying out 10 random people. If I was you, I was already to download it. Mafia, I want you to keep partnering with me and making amazing business. So please link in the description, download Current, request $500 from me, and I will be paying out 10 people. That's pretty much it. Back to Pat, way hairier Eric. Luckily, guys, I did shave and get a haircut between these videos, and we found ourselves at a giant racetrack. What is it? Yeah, I mean, I spent 12 days in a warehouse. We've all suffered for this moment. Yeah, I suffered for this moment.
I suffered for like 2 hours.
Literally got out in 1 hour and got a car. It makes me so mad. Boys, I'm trying to take over 500K for the Mafia. That's all I care about. 500K on 3. 1, 2, 3. 500K! Yo, baby.
Oh, this is so cute. Now get out of here.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. I mean, literally, it's been probably 3 weeks of my life have been devoted, and all boiled down to this game of tag that I'm about to play. I am an adult playing tag for $500,000. I don't know where my life got off on this track. 1 of 9 of us here will leave with $500,000. They're warming up. Here we go.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.
It's been a pleasure.